Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Kitchen Table series. My name is Vincent Lancisi. I'm the artistic director at Everyman, and I'm excited to welcome you back and alongside five amazing actors from our resident company to celebrate our 30th anniversary season. So, with no further ado, I'd like to introduce five wonderful actors from our company. Welcome, people. Come on in. Hey, there's Mr. Kyle Brew and Mr. Bruce Nelson, Miss Beth Hilton, Tony Nam, and Jefferson Russell. All right. Hi, guys. Good to see you, guys and doll.
Hi.
Hey, y'all.
So here we are. You ready for this? Well, first of all, before we get started, just let me sort of give people a sense who don't know you, who you might be, okay? So Mr. Kyle Prue, founding company member of everybody you see on this screen and all of the company members. He has been here the longest. He's been in 27 productions over a 30-year period, right?
Wow.
Amazing.
He had a long hiatus from acting because I asked him to switch gears and operate the other side of his brain and become the production manager for about a decade. And then he became director of production. And now he's the producing director. He is, as producing director, also back in the resident company as an actor as well. So I think it's safe to say that Kyle is basically an integral part of the DNA that is Everyman Theater, right? He's had many roles on and off stage, and one of them, he met his wife, company member Megan Anderson, on stage, and they later married and had two beautiful daughters, Zoe and Willa. So welcome, Kyle, to the program.
Oh, thank you so much, Vinny.
So Jefferson Russell, some of you may know him as one of our newer company members, but I'm here to tell you his first role at Everyman Theater was 21 years ago. He's known for his work throughout the Washington, DMV area and nationally. A Baltimore native, boy done good, City College student, did his early work and spreading his wings at Arena Players, went on to further train at the Academy for Classical Acting. He has been, I kind of think of Jefferson as a humanist, an activist, a great actor, and the man you want to call friend. How's that, Jefferson? Did I get it right?
Yes, and you will get your $10 from me also. That was wonderful.
It's true. Bruce Nelson, 20 years and 34 plays.
Wow.
20 years.
And I'm exhausted.
You've been carrying Everyman Theater on your back for 20 years.
My shoulders are killing me.
Bruce is another locally grown theatrical giant. He hails from Howard County. He went to Towson University, lives in Baltimore City. Many call him a comedic genius. Often his most wonderful role amongst the resident company is to keep us all in stitches. His work has been known throughout the DMV region. He's a member of the Woolly Mammoth Resident Company alumni. So other companies very much would like to have Bruce in their company. Best known for tour de force performances as Poirot in Murder on the Orient Express, I Am My Own Wife, and Butterfly Irma Vep, and the list goes on. Thank you, Bruce, for joining us. And then let's talk about Beth Hilton, right? 14 years, 19 plays.
Oh my goodness.
I love that, right? So Beth's work's been seen throughout the DMV area, but also at regional theaters across the country and in New York. She's equally comfortable in contemporary work as well as she is in period plays. For my money, I love to see Beth transform on stage. 1 minute she's playing glamorous women of style, and the next she's introverted, vulnerable characters with wounded interior stories. She plays comedy with aplomb and serious plays with great depth. Truth in performance is her mantra, and I always believe her.
Oh.
MFA from UNC Chapel Hill. If you want more information on Beth, she has a website, www.bethhilton.com.
Thank you
That's
so
so
much.
Yeah.
Vinny, you're 50 from me, so I'm up on you, Jefferson. That was good. So the $50 is on its way.
And then Tony Nam. Tony Nam ups our game. Tony Nam has only been with us 3 years and 3 roles, but he feels such an integral part of the fabric of Everyman. I really wanted him on this show. He's a celebrated actor in the Washington, D.C. area and throughout the DMV. Everyman audiences know him as the protagonist chef from Aubergine. I love to say that. Aubergine. And as the young drunk driver who hit the Amish buggy, killing 2 brothers in the play, Everything is Wonderful.
Quite a
Hi, my
range
name
right
is
there.
Tony Nam.
Yes,
I play the young drunk driver who hit the Amish buggy. You mean person. Or the passenger suspect in the Orient Express train. And Tony will also appear and Cry It Out this winter, COVID permitting. Welcome, Tony Nam.
Yeah.
Tinam.
Yes.
Right. So listen, I want to go back to the beginning for a minute, and I wanna ask Kyle about his earliest memories, right? Because if I'm correct, 30 years ago today, we were in tech for the very first play in the history of Everyman. And the play was?
The Runner Stumbles. The Runner
Oh,
Stumbles.
wow.
So talk to me a little bit, Kyle. Look at him. He was
Oh,
a
my
baby.
God.
Wow.
And that's
Yeah.
with Carol Monda, who's now
Wow.
books on tape and voice actor extraordinaire. But
Wow.
boy, Kyle, how old was that character supposed to be?
God, I want to say he was supposed to be 45 or 50.
Yeah. So
You're like 19.
if we revisited The Runner Stumbles, is that a role you'd want to revisit now, knowing
Oh my
what you know
gosh.
about life?
Yeah, I'm sort of the right age now. You know,
Yeah.
I think they made a movie of it at some point, and it was a very white-haired Dick Van Dyke played the role of all people.
I remember that. It was on TV. It was
Yeah.
a movie of the week or something. Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome.
So,
It was like, how was Dick Van Dyke?
It's a really compelling story, right? It's a play about a priest who was on trial for the murder of a nun, based on an actual trial in 1911.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
And Kyle, I have some pretty vivid memories. I'm sure you do too, because back then, company members. I mean, acting was like 1/10 of what you did, right?
absolutely.
What other things did you do on that show, Kyle?
Well, I remember, Vinny, I had this memory of you saying when I came from California to do the play, I was living in California, and you took me over and you said, I found this great place to do it, and it was a church. And I'm like, well, okay, it's a church. It's a play about a priest. Now, that would be interesting. And we walk in, and it is gutted. There is nothing there. And I was like, well, there's no stage. And you were like, yeah, well, we can build that. And I'm like, well, where are you going to put the lights? And he said, oh, well, I hadn't really thought about that. So we built a stage. We had a buddy who worked for a lighting company at the time, and I think he didn't tell his boss and took a bunch of lighting equipment and borrowed it for a couple of weeks.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow.
There was no heat in the church.
St. John's Church of Baltimore City, still there. 27th and St. Paul. Yeah.
The reason that they didn't have anything inside the church was they had had a big fire a couple of years
Right.
ago. So they rebuilt the roof. There were no pews. There was no altar. Just 3 beautiful stained glass windows.
Yeah.
I thought, and our buddy, the lighting designer, was like, "Oh, if I hit those from the outside, we can make that stained glass kind of glow inside."
Amazing.
Because it was about a priest and a nun. It was
One of my other fondest memories was it was right about this time. It opened, I think, the 19th of October. Well, right after opening, we had a cold snap came through, and I'm talking, it was like February cold.
Yeah.
And there is no heat in this church. It is like 40 degrees in the church. So So I said to Vinny, I'm from Florida. That's where I grew up. I said, down in Florida, they have these things they put in the orange groves. They're basically a giant propane torch to keep the oranges from freezing. I said, maybe you can rent one of those things. Well, sure enough, he did, and we would. But it sounded like a jet engine. We couldn't run it during the play. For about 3 hours into the show, we would fire this thing up with this giant propane tank just to raise the temperature a few degrees in the room. And then, Vinny, you remember this? There was a homeless shelter in the basement of the church.
Yes.
And Vinny went down there one day and was talking to the guy who was sort of running the shelter. And he said, hey, you don't happen to have any extra blankets, do you? And the guy was like, sure, I got a whole bunch. And so he let us borrow blankets, and we put them on every chair.
Wow.
Chair. We had to rent chairs for people to sit in. And people would walk in and they'd laugh and they'd giggle. Oh, isn't that quaint? There's a blanket on my thing. Well, 10 minutes into the play.
I have a memory of sitting in the back of the audience, right? These were cold folding chairs, metal, right? So the minute it started to get cold, everything got cold. And I was looking down, and when it gets cold outside, the mice come in, right? I didn't think about it.
Oh no!
This woman who had high heel shoes, and she had them on, and she's under a blanket, and I see this mouse heading for her shoe, and I'm like, there was a whole play going on in the audience, and I'm like, please don't scream, please don't scream, please. I'm totally struck. I love it. I just love it. Well, listen. Jefferson, do you remember your first role at Everyman? Because I do.
Absolutely. Yeah. You directed. It was Heathen Valley with not so mustachioed Kyle Crew.
Well, I had something going on, didn't I have some,
I think you had some stubble. Yeah. Not like what's happening right now. No.
Do you remember the playwright? Right? It was Romulus Linney.
Yes, it was. Romulus Linney. Laura Linney's father.
And Laura Linney was just starting out, and I remember seeing Laura Linney in a role and going, "Oh my God, that's Romulus Linney's daughter." Now, when somebody brings up Romulus Linney, they go, "Oh, I think that's Laura Linney's dad."
Yeah.
Interesting. Right? That was an incredible piece. Kyle, you were in that.
I was. I have. Oh my God, I have some.
That was a good time. Yeah,
that was.
We had the time of our lives, as I remember it. I'm not sure the audience loved it as much as we. We were having a religious experience on the stage.
Yeah, we were. We were doing our thing, man. Doug Brown and Vivian Shub. Vivian Shub, yeah, that was my first show with Vivian Shub, and that I was blown away, of course, because the grand dame of Baltimore theater and center stage from way back, and she's an institution within herself, and to be on stage with her, just watch her work, and not only that, the love and care that everyone had with Vivian and the reverence that they had for Vivian and her work. It was just beautiful. So that was my introduction to the real family, the familial energy that has always been Everyman to me.
While you're talking about Vivian, I want to say something. I never drew this comparison before, but Vivian and Bruce actually share work habits that I never really thought of before, right? Very hardworking actors. For audiences who haven't had the pleasure of being in the room when Bruce works on a show or when Vivian used to, hard working. I mean, what appears to be very off the cuff to you is carefully planned out. And two people with wicked senses of humor.
Absolutely.
So I have watched Vivian Shub derail entire ensembles with a glance or a wink and a nod. Or if she went up on stage, she forgot her line. Everybody's in there trying to save her, and she makes them all look like they don't know their line. Oh, I miss her so much. That was so much fun.
Yeah.
I like to hope that not everything Bruce does is planned.
I know. We just know that we can count
Looking
on
at you.
But talk about derailing. I mean, during Murder, there were some afternoons in the rehearsal hall where it just seemed like we're going to get through this scene.
Never gonna get there.
Oh, look at that.
Lord, look at that.
Yes.
Well,
Look at the hair.
Let's talk about Murder, right? Because Jefferson, you know, you and Bruce were sidekicks, right? And you know, and Tony was not to be trusted. You know, I mean, as a suspect, of course.
Right.
And, you know, and what fun did we have on that show?
Oh, man.
Right?
And that was when because Beth, was this the first time that we were on stage together? I think.
I
Probably.
think it is, Jefferson. I feel like
We've
I
worked
feel like
together
I've known
before,
you since
but
before time. Yeah, but
right,
never
right.
in a play. Yeah.
Well, this was
Wait,
where
wait.
I discovered how zany Beth Hilton is.
A little bit. Not
How
really
come-
compared to Bruce Nelson, but
How come all you guys got to be in that play and not me? Everybody here worked it. Yeah, you did. Yeah.
You were busy helping run the joint. Man.
Yeah.
Come on.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
I remember I got to do that.
yeah.
Oh,
He was
my
trying to
hands
help
are
us
still feeling it.
figure out how to build
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, right.
That.
And he was orchestrating, so somebody had to work things out. Man.
That's right.
Totally. Now, you know what's really fun is that we're going to get to relive that, COVID permitting, in the summer and at only theaters. So that show was all hands on deck. I want you to think about it for a minute. Our incredible stage manager, Kat Wallace. I mean, if she wasn't there to
Yeah,
lead us
yeah.
through all that new technology and keep us all safe, I mean, the magic she would. In fact, when Only contacted me about bringing the show, I was like, I think we're all game and we'd really love to go. But if Kat doesn't come, the train's not leaving the station.
Yeah,
We are in trouble.
easily.
Right?
Literally.
The story I heard about that is Kat said she never got to watch the show. Her head was in the book or on the monitors, and she never actually got to see it. She was always like head in the stuff every second of that 2.5 hours.
I believe it.
Kat, we were brilliant.
Yeah. You missed a good show. You missed a really good show.
We were so good. I'm sending you $15 too.
And you know, talking about stage management, but also the crew and Bill and the shop folks, how you all did what you all did is I'm glad I'm doing what I do because I couldn't do that.
That David's stunning costume.
Oh my God.
Yeah, all of
Right,
that.
think about it. And Rashawn, right? I mean, you know, Devontae's beautiful video that sort of transported us right in there.
That's
It
right.
knocks
Yeah.
out. That locomotive
Very
would
cool.
get my heart.
Wait a minute. I just remembered I was in that play.
You were.
Oh, that's
Oh yeah,
right.
that's right.
That's
I
right.
was the shadow of the scary guy.
The shadow.
scary
That's
horror
right.
guy.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. And
Oh,
the
I
other
feel
thing,
better. I feel better now.
and wasn't that the play?
You have a hit on your hands.
When something happened backstage and you actually had to come and
For
work.
a week, I was back
Yes.
there for a week.
Oh, that's right.
My hands are still sore from pulling the flies.
All
Yeah.
the bullets and stuff. Yeah.
I'd like to say we've come a long way, baby, but maybe not.
Hey, well, you don't have blankets in the seats right now, so that's pretty.
There you go.
I'll
We got
never
heat.
forget the
We got
young
heat.
stage hands watching him, knowing who he is and his position at every man,
Yeah.
jump in with the
A
ultimate.
utility
play.
man, sure enough.
It was like mentorship alive. It was awesome.
I'm the Ryan Flaherty of Everyman Theater. They get that. Nobody else
Oh
will.
man, yeah. Baseball, baby, baseball.
Hey, Bruce Nelson.
Yes.
So, what was your favorite role? I got some real favorites, but
Can I express a favorite moment?
yes.
Okay, it comes from Orient Express and Jefferson, and he would get so hot and sweaty under this full wig. There was a way that he
Shit, that's what I wore.
lift the back, and he could sort of vent out the heat. And at the right angle, it looked like the spoiler of a '78 Camaro.
Bruce.
Yeah, and I think it stayed vented during one scene. And I thought, as Poirot, can I take the back of his head and push it down? But that might send the wrong message. Who knows?
Bruce, when I think back to your career, which has been so amazing, and when I first sort of became aware of you, before asking you to join the company, I remember I was thinking Bruce was this sort of comic icon. Everything he was getting cast in DC and at Woolly Mammoth and other theaters were comedy roles because nobody was funnier out there. I mean, he could just tear it up.
Funnier.
And he was, funny as he is right now off stage as well. So who wouldn't hire him in that capacity? But I remember saying to myself, this guy has so much more to offer than just his brilliant comedic timing, which I don't want to downplay it because, drama's hard, but comedy's impossible. It's, for those people who play comedy, they know how much hard work that is.
Yeah.
But I did sense he was being typecast. And the first role you played in Everyman was one of the leads in The Crucible.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Talk about wigs.
Yeah.
Look at Kyle Prue.
Wow.
Look at that wig.
And Deb.
No, that was my real hair. I
Wow,
think.
look at
No,
that.
Looking like
That was
Fabio.
glorious. That was a glorious experience.
Oh, wow.
Beautiful set.
Yeah.
Just tremendous. To play Hale, who
Yeah.
runs the gamut emotionally,
Mhm.
was just a stunning opportunity. And it was in college that I think I got a hint that there's more to me in a production of Cloud Nine we did. But
Who was your mentor there?
my
Yeah,
God,
famous
it had
actor
to be
that was-
Marvin Lushke,
Yeah.
who loved me. Woo. She's not with us anymore, unfortunately.
But didn't you get to know John Glover a bit there?
It was during a reading. He was brought back in for a reading of A Normal Heart, and I met him that way. So not
This was at Towson, right?
right.
Mm-hmm.
But Vinny is the master at giving you opportunities to stretch and to grow that
Absolutely.
maybe normally
Yep.
you wouldn't have the opportunity.
Yep,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Well, that's the point of a resident company, right?
That's right.
Really, what do you want to do and my job is to go, I can imagine that. Let's
Mhm.
try it.
Yeah.
What have we got to do? Our audience seems to be so game.
Mhm.
They seem to love to see new sides of actors. And that's the only thing all of you have in common is that I have not discovered the edges of your range yet, which is a beautiful thing when I think of 30 years with Kyle and 22 with you and 14 with you. I mean, this is, Tony has shown me new sides even in the last 3 years.
Yeah, that dude is dynamic.
Yep.
Come
Yep.
on.
Oh,
And I'm
Look at
not
that.
saying that just because I'm in the picture with him.
Tony, get
That's
your
one-
hands off his aubergine.
That's one of my favorite plays.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is about that play. Well, Food and Love.
Mhm.
That's me.
Yeah.
Tony, can you talk about what that role sort of represented for you, or I don't know, Julia Cho, great writer.
Yeah, I mean, I talked a lot about this at the time, but just the opportunity to play characters that felt so close to my own experience, it really felt like I was just at home there, and that's rare for a Korean American actor to have. There are not a lot of opportunities like that. And I remember at the time, I remember the first production. MFA classmate of mine was in that production at Berkeley Rep. He was telling me about it and how incredible it was. And it was so exciting for me to hear that. And then it sort of like went away, and I didn't hear about it. Hear about it. And then Vinny, you came along and said we're interested in doing this play, and I was just so excited and thrilled for that opportunity to just see that story being told and being a part of it was just incredibly.
I was so happy. I have to credit Jason Lowith, who contacted me and said, I found this amazing play, and do you want to co-produce it? And I was like, yes. Yes, please. Yes.
That was a beautiful experience, man.
It really was a beautiful play.
God, right?
I have to say,
You immediately came to my mind because I've been watching you for so long transform yourselves into all walks of life, all races, all socioeconomic backgrounds. You transform so beautifully. To me, the spirit of your work is you are an everyman, right? I often root for you, whether you're playing the underdog that made a mistake in his life that's trying to do better, or like you're now, looking for redemption, or whether you're just playing a normal guy, quote unquote normal, who's struggling with the loss of his dad. I'm always in your corner. I thank you for that.
Thank you, Vinny. I mean, I'm so super excited to hear, all these stories, and I totally agree. Like, just being a part of a company like this, like having opportunities to stretch and discover new things. And then also just reflecting back on what Jeff was about with Vivian in the past. Like, I feel the same way about coming to Everman and having the opportunity to work with Bruce and Kyle and Beth and Jefferson, everyone in the company, and these incredible artists that are doing their work and playing along with them is just such an honor. And
awesome. I liken it to playing tennis. I mean, everybody wants to play with a better tennis player because it ups your game and it's more fun. So, and I feel like we have that, in abundance and everything, which is really kind of great. I need to take just a second to embarrass Beth Hilton.
Oh no!
Come on, let's do it.
Right? I mean,
Oh no!
My sort of introduction to the way I think of you in terms of being equally adept in period plays and contemporary work and comedy and serious plays. For me, Blanche Dubois was a pinnacle of your work, right? Yeah. I mean, it's many actors' dream to play that role, but you, including Deb Hazlett, who timing didn't work out for her in her life, but I'm sure that there are many, many, many great actresses out there who go, "Whoops, I missed that."
Yep.
And it caught you just in the right moment, and boy, did you knock that out of the park. All your Southern roots got to come up to the forefront.
Yeah, and my favorite part about being an actor, aside from obviously like the great joy of being in the room with people like this, is like using the script as kind of like your map and your architecture, and like just digging in deep and following that map. And I mean, he's one of the great writers of the English language. So it was a gift to get into the meat of that script and just dissect, pull apart why this word. I went to the original text before Ilya Kazan had his hands in it, and I went to the text before there was stage directions from the stage manager of the original production, and then it compared and contrasted and got to do all that work because I'm in a resident company and I knew in advance it was coming. So I had all the extra gift of having the time. I was able to talk to you, Vinny, about it. I was able to sit down with Derek like 6-7 months in advance and think about what we were going to do. And I mean, that's one of the gifts of being a resident company member, that I had all that extra delicious time to get in the kitchen and start cooking before I even had to start making the meal. You know what I mean?
Plus, New Orleans is one of your favorite places.
Yes, it's where I met my husband. That's where I met my husband. Yeah.
Very nice. I'm getting reminded by our timekeepers that we're getting
wrapping
close.
it up.
So before we have to wrap it up, I guess what I'd like to say to you is, and this is a question for everybody. When you think about the future of Everyman, what do you think about it? It's a big, loaded question. Sorry.
And we have 30 seconds left?
We have about 28, 26.
This morning, Yeah.
I'm looking forward to the new stories. You know what I'm saying?
Me too.
What are the stories that are going to come out of this crazy time we're living in? What are the stories that are being written right now or are about to be written? What are those that we're going to get to help tell? That's what I'm excited about.
I mean, if the previous pandemic is any indication, we're on the verge of the next jazz age, right? So what are the next jazz age writers going to give for us to create?
It's funny you say that because we're working with a graphic designer now that's doing a brochure for us, and he's chosen the Jazz Age as a motivator for design.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
History comes back around.
Mhm.
Any other thoughts?
I'm still grieving, the loss of what we weren't able to do and what we
Yeah.
had, and
Yeah, you lost 2 big roles.
well, yeah, and just and theater in general, the arts in general, just people coming together. They
Mhm. Amazing.
Yeah, I'm
I
looking forward to
things,
being able to gather together again.
yeah, things like this just energize and lift me. So this is nourishment for the spirit. So I appreciate seeing everybody and being able to have this conversation.
Yeah.
And that is actually what propels me forward, Vinny, into thinking about every man and what will be upon the other end of this, as far as theater and the stores that will come. So
There's a wonderful ticker tape going across the bottom.
Yep, I love it.
Join us next time as we feature our BIPOC company members, Jefferson, Tony, and all the other great ones out there. I can't wait to see what that's going to be like. So Thursday, October 29th, 12 p.m., be here. I love you guys so much. I know our audiences do too. Thank you so much.
Thank
Have a great day.
Bye. Be safe, everybody.
Bye.